play 4-4-2, or was it a case of working out what these players' strengths were and therefore adapting the system to enhance those strengths?
No, I felt that they could do it. It was, it didn't worry me. There wasn't any, particular square pegs in round holes. These players were adaptable. They weren't just set that they are a wing back. They could do the role as well, which they proved to do as such. So we sort of got aside and we started to play it. And I just said to Eric and Shirley out there, look, I'm going to go with 4-4-2. If we need to change back, I will do. But I feel this is going to suit it. And, we had Mike Sherrin, who was good movement as well, and, in the pre-season in Sweden, it looked okay and various things, so I wasn't worried about it. So, I did work on that, particularly to get us ready to be ready for the season, starting off with that. And, obviously, I was, thinking, well, if we have to change, we'll have to change. But I think we can get away with it.
Yeah, why Sweden, Dave? I know you went to Sweden a few times, but what was it about Sweden that attracted you to that place?
Well, with all my times going back to Wimbledon, back to Sweden, Finland, Norway, I had good connections out there with Roy Hodgson in Sweden and Bobby Houghton, who was in Sweden, and I knew people in Finland, Keith Armstrong, a guy from the northeast who was there, and I had connections in Norway. So I always asked them to see if they could organise pre-season tours because the camps were good, the weather was good, and whilst you could say, all right, the opposition wasn't superior in some ways, you knew that they were all bloody fit. They were fit as a fiddle. They could run about and everything else. So if you didn't run about, you got rolled over. So it was physically good, and the environment was good. And also, meeting up with a load of boys, it was good to get away and have a break where we could train together, mix together, and have a few drinks at night and a few laughs and get to know one another to sort of create a bit of bonding as such, which went very well. That, for me to get to know them and then to get to know, hopefully, what sort of bloke I was.
Having lost your first 2 competitive league games, Dave, you've had this camp in Sweden. You come back, you lose your first competitive league games. I know that you win a league cup game, I believe, in between those 2. But did you ever feel dispirited, or did you ever feel that you probably should stick to your guns and eventually you'll come good?
Yeah, no, I mean, sometimes it's a new team. I mean, it was it's not easy to get off. You want to get off to a good start, and it's essential you do get off to a good start, because if you start badly, that can end up being a relegation season. But no, after 2 games, I wasn't deciding that we throw everything out the window. You've got to give the boys a chance to blend in that. You with me? I saw some signs where I thought, that's all right. You're right, we didn't do other aspects of the game, and there was a few decision-making situations that weren't correct. But I'd seen enough not to panic, to think, hold on a minute, I'm going to ditch this and go straight back to it, because if that was the case, then, I shouldn't have changed in the first place. And but then, the results started to turn slightly, and we started to improve, and our form developed as the season went on. You with me? I mean, as we moved into September and that, the results there, we got a good hiding at Ipswich after we'd hammered Portsmouth 5 or 6-0. But, Ipswich were a good side at that stage, and on that day, we just got our arses tanned as such.
Well, look at some of your signings then that you brought in there just to try and give that squad a bit of a boost. Neil Shipley from Forest for 700,000, and of course Jeff Thomas also from Forest on a free.
Well, Jeff, I think Jeff had come pre-season, didn't he? Jeff had come. And Jeff, I'd known him, a real good type, good fella in the dressing room, mixes well. He had a few injuries, but Forest were okay to get rid of him. You with me? And I'd had him at Forest for me. So I brought Jeff in to give us experience in there, because we had Appleby and Tinkler as well. And if I wanted to play 3 in there, he was capable of being another one there. But, Ships I'd taken to Nottingham Forest, and he'd had an absolute nightmare at Nottingham Forest. I'd taken him to Crystal Palace when I was manager there, and he done really well for Crystal Palace. And because when I was at Forest, Van Hooydonk and Kevin Campbell, Kevin was sold behind me back to Turkey, and Van Oydel went on strike. So I needed a centre forward. But unfortunately for him, and Dougie Freedman I took to Forest, both had nightmares at Forest, do you hear me? And so Six was there, I'd paid that money, and I knew he was a good player, Shipley, so, I got onto him, and he said, yeah, I'm desperate to get away from Forest, and he knew Bruce Dyer as well from his time at Crystal Palace. He knew Jeff, and so John put his hand in his pocket and got 700 grand out and to get ships. And it was we needed that bit more strength up front. Wise, Shez and Iggy were nice and lively. Sometimes we weren't physically strong enough up there. So either of those could play with Shipley, and I could play Iggy loose or wide or something like that, depending on how we wanted to shape up against teams. So, Neil was good, and of course he had a bloody good time at Barnsley and did really well, scored goals for us, and it was a good signing.